All right, so welcome every single one of you. Proud of everyone here. This is part of our training series. Today, we're going to be looking at a little bit of leadership in MLM. Okay, how can you set your team ablaze? That is the dream of every network marketer. And, how can you put fire in your team? That is what we're going to be discussing, all right? And like I mentioned, this is going to be a bit shorter. It won't be as long as the other ones that we've been on, okay? Now, if you look at this picture, you see a blaze, okay? And so I decided to title this The Blazes. What does it take to get a blaze or to get blazes in network marketing? I say, as you see this blaze, I want you to imagine, assuming we are camping, let's say we've started our leadership boot camps and we are camping by Riverside. Let's say we are camping at Aqua Safari or Peace Holiday. And in the evening, we have an outdoor event. Most likely, we'll have this fire to keep us warm. I want you to picture a scene like that. As the blaze is on, when you take one log out, what do you think will happen? The intensity of the blaze reduces. When you take the next one out, it reduces. When you take the next one out, it reduces. Eventually, what will happen is, even though you had a very hot fire, eventually you have nothing left. Now, those logs that were part of the blaze, which were burning, as you detach them from the blaze, with time, as soon as they detach from the blaze, their fire go off. So it's just a matter of detaching one after the other, and before you realize, you have your logs intact. At best, they can char to a point, but they won't be bent up if they were together. So I wanted to keep that picture in your mind while we go through our conversation for today, right? Now, you must say small fire. Yes, small fire. Now, if you have just one log, you don't have a blaze. You don't have anything actually. If you just have one log or one wood, you don't have anything. So the same way in network marketing, if you were in network marketing and you want to take network marketing seriously, when you sign on somebody, you haven't done anything. That is a picture I want to create. You haven't done anything. How about if you have two logs? The logs keep themselves warm and you are likely to have a flame. Now, what happens if there are more than two? Let's say you bring 3 logs together. You get a really hot fire. Okay? Now, by the time you put the 4th one, the 5th one, the 6th one, trust me, you are now having a blaze. It's no more a fire, it's now a blaze. If you joke with that fire can consume you up. So I want you to picture this in your network marketing business. If you have one log can make a fire. So the same way, when you are solo, when you look at your team and it is just you, really, you can't do so much. So what will you want to do? Because you want to do so much, you need to reach out. So you reach out for the first log. Now you become 2. You remember? As 2, you probably will produce a flame. But that flame can easily be put out. With sun, I can just put that flame out. But when they become 3, now the logs keep themselves warm, the fire is a bit hotter, and they burn up very easily. When they become 4 or more, then you are really, really going to have a blaze. Now, I know you would have heard of this statement, the sizzle sells the stick. You know, in a part of the world, we don't call the meat stick, we call it chinchinga. The Hausa people call it balango, okay? So those of us who like to eat roasted meat, whether it's chicken, pork, what actually sells that meat or the steak is the sizzle. Okay, and just follow the conversation. You will appreciate where I'm going. I want you to picture this scenario. Let's say you are meeting up a prospect with your sponsor, and you arrive there first. I want you to picture the environment. You're sitting there alone. The energy is virtually low or even not there at all around the table. But as soon as your sponsor joins you and you are two, there's relatively a lot more energy compared to just when you were alone. Now, if you are observant, you realize that by the time the third, fourth person join, then of course, the energy is that high around the table, and that is what I call the sizzle sessions. So what are sizzle sessions? Let's look at them. If you want to look at the steak, that is the meat, okay? The shredded meat. Take the shredded meat as the MLM program you are on. Let's say that is Luxurial. And everybody knows that usually it's the sizzle that sells the steak. It is the sizzle is the shh, the oil dropping into the fire and the noise it makes and the aroma it produces. That is what we call a sizzle, right? Often what will attract you to go and buy that meat is the sizzle. So if the program, say Luxurial, is the steak, that is the meat, what do you think will create the aroma and that imaginary taste that will cause you to go and give your money to that meat seller and pick up those pieces of meat? And how can it be likened to network marketing? In other words, if you are going to be able to sell yourself, it's the excitement that you create that will sell you. That is what it is. And that is why I'm saying that in Luxurial, just wait. You will see the kind of things that are going to happen. I was saying that, so if you want, as a leader, if you want to build your business, okay, you might want to implement your own sizzle sessions. And what are these sizzle sessions? The sizzle sessions are where, let's say you set a particular day aside and let it be a consistent thing where your team knows. Say, today I am at Oak Plaza between 2 and 5. Let your people know so that if they have 1, 2 friends, they can come over with them. You have a chat about the business. You say that to get them sizzle, to get them excited about the whole program has a lot to do with how you and your team carry yourself. And we say that a good place to do this usually, or the one-on-ones, what in our part of the world we call it one-on-ones. But in actual fact, I prefer to call it a sizzle because not just one-on-one. It's you, your sponsor, and somebody else. So it's more of a sizzle than a one-on-one. Now, these sessions will be good if you are handled in hotels, in hotel lobbies, in restaurants, where you can have some coziness around you, you can have some more closeness, and you have real conversations, where the person can open up, ask questions, and get their answers before they leave the table. And I said that you may want to schedule a such that your people will know at the times that you will be available every week. If you are able to do this, trust me, you will be able to generate a lot more momentum. Maybe the initial weeks, you might just have 1 or 2 people come through. But once the whole team gets to know that this is what is happening, you would have a lot more engagements. And don't forget, in our last training, we talked about the fact that in network marketing, your level of exposure is equivalent to your success. So let's say that you have 2 sizzle sessions a week. And in a day, your sizzle sessions of say 2 hours or 4 hours, you are able to talk to say 6 people a week. Can you imagine how many people you are talking to in a month? 6 people a week will mean that that's about 24 people in a month. With Luxurial, our closing rate is very high. If you have 10 people and you present to, most likely 8 of them will sign up. So if you have 24 people in a week, can you imagine how many people will sign up? Even if 18 should sign up, can you imagine adding 18 to your team every week? That is what I mean by the sizzle sells the stick. Okay. Now, you say that when that happens, it's as if everybody is gathering firewood for the fire. And so before you know it, you have a blaze. As you are doing that with your direct line, they are watching. Encourage and empower them to also do the same. So with time, it's not just one sizzle session. You have multiple sizzle sessions. You can decide to do it in the same environment where you are on different tables. You can decide to do it at different locations. But the most important thing is that those are fixed times that you have to be able to have enough time for new people alongside the people you are training to have an experience as to how the business is done. We're saying that if you were to bring someone to a sizzle session who was a little bit skeptical, let's say the person is a wet log, the technical people, if you remember the personality types, these are the green apples. Okay, they are the technical people. They ask a lot of questions. They're a bit skeptical. If you bring a skeptical person into a sizzle session, it's like introducing a wet log into a blaze. What will happen? Quickly, that wet log gets dries up and join the fire. And they become part of the fire, okay? But what happens if you yourself, you are now new to the business, you are now learning the business, and you go to talk to somebody who is skeptical? What do you think will happen? It is like you go pick a wet log and you put it down and you go and gather grass or sawdust and you are trying to start a fire. You're wasting your time. If you're not careful, the sawdust that you brought, which is supposed to help light the fire, the water from the log will drip and wet the sawdust and the sawdust cannot catch the fire. What am I saying? If you are trying to do those engagements all by yourself as a new person who don't understand, who also have your own questions unanswered, you are actually going to get convinced to stop because with time you say, nah, these things don't work. Okay? We're saying that another thing about the blazes or the sizzle sessions in restaurants is that they can generate a lot of energy because in that place, there's a bit of life in the restaurant, in the hotel lobby. There's a lot of activity, so the energies are higher. Okay. Now, there are also people there, and that is what you want to focus on. Don't forget, you are widening your net. There are people we call the eavesdroppers. While you are having your sizzle session, you're in close conversation, you'll find people trying to listen to what you're talking about, especially if you are mentioning some attractive figures. Okay. Now say that don't be unaware of those people. Be very sensitive. You see them, you might see them leaning backward, trying to hear what you're saying. Be aware of them. And these are people who probably will be interested in what you're talking about. Now, as a leader, when you are done with your sizzle session, when you break up and your people are going, don't be in the hurry to leave. You might want to hang on a bit because the people who would have been eavesdropping, when you are 2 or 3 at the table, they will not approach you. But when your people are gone and you are there alone, they are likely to walk over to you to say, Charlie, Jack, I heard you talking about this. What is it all about? And you have the opportunity to present to them. So that's one trick. In the sizzle sessions, when the session is ended, don't be in the hurry to leave as a leader. Hang on a bit. Give yourself some 10, 15 minutes. Just for the eavesdroppers, those who are interested to approach you. All right. Now, the other part that we need to have at the back of our mind is we always start the blazing session by having the people arrive. And once they arrive, you want to ensure that the energy level is high. You are discussing something positive, either about the product or about the organization. You're either discussing some good things about your product, other testimonies about your product, or you are discussing testimonies about earnings in the system and how the system is generating a lot of excitement for team members because they are being positioned for independence. That session is entirely to talk about business, nothing else. If you have a problem even with your login, that is not a place to discuss your difficulties. At that sizzle session, it's not time to discuss problems. It's time to discuss the opportunity. It's time to discuss the business. It's time to generate some excitement. Okay? And I only say that the purpose of that session is to share ideas, how to build a business, how to go about talking to people about the business, how to close your business. That is all you are talking about. If you go there and you start solving problems, you actually defeat the purpose for your sizzle sessions. Right. Now, I say that always, 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 when you are breaking up the sessions, bear in mind, your parting words should be something like, Jack, just think about that. This is as hard as we would ever work. Now, why do you think that is important? You want to let your prospects and whoever is eavesdropping realize that you are talking about a business, not a get-rich-quick scheme. There is no business without hard work. And you are costuming your prospect. You are readjusting the mindset of your prospect to realize that, hey, because this can pay you so much, don't mean you are not going to work. You need to work to get paid so much, just like you are working in your organization. Especially this works when the person you are talking to is those who still have their 9-to-5 jobs or 8-to-5 jobs in a part of the world, who probably use their lunchtime to come and meet you and they are going back. Once you sow that seed, they are going back knowing that indeed they are going to do something real. It's not something imaginative. Because some of those figures in network marketing that we talk about, some people fall into the category of disbelief. They think that we are just a bunch of jokers. We only hype to get a sale. But if you make it real to realize that, hey, this is as hard work as what we already do, just that is far more rewarding than what we do, then you are now being real. You are painting a real picture to your prospects and to your eavesdroppers. All right. So these are just a few tips around organizing sizzle sessions. And trust me, with an opportunity like ours that we are still pioneering, if you are going to be able to generate momentums in your teams, you will want to look at sizzle sessions. Because one, they are scalable, they are effective, and they give you the opportunity to learn as well and train your people. That is the only platform where you can easily mentor and coach your new people who you are sponsoring. You remember our conversation about recruiting and sponsoring. You recruit an experienced person, you sponsor an inexperienced person. So anybody you sponsor, you need to handhold the person for the person to learn the rudiments of the game, for the person to learn how the business is done. And the sizzle sessions is one of those avenues to training our new people to understand the business and to be able to succeed in them. Right. So thank you so much. This is all we'll do for today. I will pause at this point and open the mics. If there are any questions, few questions, we'll take them. Then we can call it a day. Thank you.